and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and as you all know, we are coming into the home stretch of our summer reading program at the Kimberly Library. And all summer, we've been tracking 5-star reads for adults and teens. So we thought those would be some fun picks for the next couple of weeks. So Jill, what's your first 5-star read from one of our patrons?
Kristen Higgins, Out of the Clear Blue Sky. And I just picked this. You won't even have to wait for it. I just picked it up off of the Beach Reads thing. Lily Silva knew life as an empty nester would be hard after her only child left for college. But when her husband abruptly dumps her for another woman just as her son leaves, her world comes crashing down. Besides the fact that this announcement is a complete surprise, to say the least, what shocks Lily most is that she isn't heartbroken. She's furious. Lily has loved her life on Cape Cod, but as a mother, wife, and nurse midwife, she's used to caring for other people, not caring for herself. Now alone for the first time in her life, she finds herself going a little rogue. Is this over-the-top crash her husband's ex-husband's wedding, dressed like the angel of death? Sure, should she release a skunk into his perfect new home? Probably not. But it beats staying home and moping. I would agree with that. She finds an unexpected ally in her glamorous sister with whom she's had a tense relationship all these years, and an unexpected babysitter in all the people, Ben Holloway, the driver of a car accident that nearly killed Lily 20 years ago. And then there's Ophelia, her ex-husband's oddly lost niece, who could really use a friend. It's the end of Lily's life as she knew it, but sometimes the perfect next chapter surprises you out of the clear blue sky. So, life after divorce.
Here you go.
Kristen Higgins.
My first 5-star pick from one of our patrons is Before We Were Innocent by Ella Berman. This is published in 2023. A summer in Greece for 3 best friends ends in the unthinkable when only 2 return in this new novel. 10 years ago, after a sun-soaked summer spent in Greece, best friends Bess and Joni were cleared of having any involvement in their friend Evangeline's death. But that didn't stop the media from ripping apart their teenage lives like vultures. While the girls were never convicted, Joni, ever the opportunist, capitalized on her newfound infamy to become a motivational speaker. Bess, on the other hand, resolved to make her life as small and controlled as possible so she wouldn't risk losing everything all over again. And it almost worked. Except now Joni is tangled up in a crime eerily similar to that one fateful night in Greece, and when she asks Bess to come back to LA to support her, Bess has a big decision to make. Is it finally time to face up to what happened that night, exposing herself as the young woman she once was and maybe still is? And what happens if she doesn't like what she finds? So, Before We Were Innocent by Ella Berman.
Yeah, that does sound good. The Wedding Season by Katie Birchall. This was published in 2022. Freya Scott is getting married. Her wedding to Matthew, her long-term boyfriend, is the first of 8 in her calendar this summer. And as someone who prides herself on being meticulously organized, Freya is intent on making it the perfect day to remember. But when Matthew calls things off hours before they walk down the aisle, Freya's entire life plan goes up in smoke. Humiliated and heartbroken, the last thing she wants is to attend a summer of other people's nuptials on her own. Fortunately, her friends have an idea. Together, they devise a series of outrageous challenges for Freya to complete at each event, designed to distract her from Matthew and what might have been. From getting stuck in an old church bathroom and needing to be rescued by the Vicar to making out with a barman at a French chateau, Freya realizes that despite herself, she might just be having some fun. By the time the final wedding arrives, she will discover that the road to happy ending sometimes has unexpected detours, and that I do is only the beginning, and that perhaps her own love story isn't over yet. So,
Aww.
Wedding season. I like that. I'm going to a lot of weddings.
My second pick is a nonfiction pick, and this is Chinese Cinderella, the true story of an unwanted daughter. This was published back in 1999. It's by Adeline Yan Ma. It's a riveting memoir of a girl's painful coming of age in a wealthy Chinese family during the 1940s. A Chinese proverb says, "Falling leaves return to their roots." In Chinese Cinderella, the author returns to her roots to tell the story of her painful childhood and her ultimate triumph and courage in the face of despair. Adeline's affluent, powerful family considers her bad luck after her mother dies giving birth to her. Life does not get any easier when her father remarries. She and her siblings are subjected to the disdain of their new stepmother, while her stepbrother and stepsister are spoiled. Although Adeline wins prizes at school, they are not enough to compensate for what she really yearns for, the love and understanding of her family. Following the success of the critically acclaimed adult bestseller Falling Leaves, this memoir is a moving telling of the classic Cinderella story, with the author providing her own courageous voice. So, Chinese Cinderella.
Chinese Cinderella. I have not heard of that one.
No, that was a 5-star pick from one of our patrons.
Well, a couple weeks ago, we told you should all read Frida McFadden, and you guys listened.
Gosh,
There are so many on the 5-star list.
I think she's the most popular author on the list so far.
So I picked this one. The Tenant. This is like one of her newest ones. This was published in May of this year, so I think it's the newest one, but I could be wrong. The Tenant by Frida McFadden. There's no place like home. Blake Porter is riding high until he's not. Fired abruptly from his job as a VP of marketing and unable to make the mortgage payments on the new brownstone that he shares with his fiancée, he's desperate to make ends meet. Enter Whitney, beautiful, charming, down to earth, and looking for a room to rent. She's exactly what Blake's looking for. Or is she? Because something isn't quite right. The neighbors start treating Blake differently. The smell of decay permeates his home, no matter how hard he scrubs. Strange noises jar him awake in the middle of the night, and soon Blake fears someone knows his darkest secrets.
Uh-oh.
Danger lives right at home, and by the time Blake realizes it, it'll be too late. The trap is already set. So, haha. I like the little hand.
Yeah, I like the book cover on that one. The next pick comes from the biography section, and this is Page Boy, a memoir by Elliot Page, published in 2023. The Oscar-nominated star who captivated the world with his performance in Juno finally shares his truth. Can I Kiss You? It was 2 months before the world premiere of Juno, and Elliot Page was in his first ever queer bar. The hot summer air hung heavily around him as he looked at her, and then it happened, in front of everyone. A previously unfathomable experience. Here he was on the precipice of discovering himself as a queer person, as a trans person, getting closer to his desires, his dreams, himself, without the repression that he'd carried for so long. But for Elliot, 2 steps forward had always come with 1 step back. With Juno's massive success, Elliot became one of the world's most beloved actors. His dreams were coming true, but the pressure to perform suffocated him. He was forced to play the part of the glossy young starlet, a role that made his skin crawl on and off set. The career that had been an escape out of his reality and into a world of imagination became suddenly a nightmare. As he navigated criticism and abuse from some of the most powerful people in Hollywood, a past that snapped at his heels, and a society dead set on forcing him into a binary, Elliot often stayed silent, unsure of what to do until enough was enough. Full of behind-the-scenes details and intimate interrogations on sex, love, trauma, and Hollywood, Page Boy is the story of a life pushed to the brink. But at its core, this beautifully written, winding journey of what it means to untangle ourselves from the expectations of others is an ode to stepping into who we truly are with defiance, strength, and joy.
I think summer's a great time to read memoirs. I enjoy them. So this next one is a thriller that Jules and I both read, and I think we both liked it too.
Yeah, we
so
did.
Maybe not 5 stars, but somebody gave it 5 stars. Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. A gripping and delicious dark thriller about marriage and revenge. Author Grady Green is having the best day of his life. Grady calls his wife to share some exciting news as she is driving home. He hears Abby slam on the brakes, get out of the car, then nothing. When he eventually finds her car by the cliff edge, the headlights are on, the driver door is open, the phone is still there, but his wife has disappeared. A year later, Grady's still overcome with grief and desperate to know what happened to Abby. He can't sleep, he can't write, so he travels to a tiny Scottish island to try to get his life back on track. Then he sees the impossible, a woman who looks exactly like his missing wife. Wives think their husbands will change, but they don't. Husbands think their wives won't change, but they do. So I listened to this book on audio, and because it goes to Scotland, there's a lot of Scottish accents in it, so it just makes it even more fun. So I recommend the audio version.
Yeah.
Beautiful Ugly.
My 4th pick is fiction, and it's a new one. It came out this year. This is Jeffrey Deaver's South of Nowhere. The New York Times best-selling master of suspense returns to his beloved series, adapted for TV if you watch CBS's Tracker with Justin Hartley. This is a series. So, as reward seeker Coulter Shaw races against the clock to save a flooding town from a full-fledged disaster where the culprit lurks in the plain sight. When a levee collapses in Hinawa, a small town in Northern California, Coulter Shaw is brought on by his sister Dorian, a disaster response specialist, to help locate a family swept away by the raging water, with mere hours to survive. But after a surprise attack along the river obstructs Coulter's urgent search, the siblings are forced to consider anew, is the levee at risk of falling from natural causes, or is someone sabotaging it? Coulter and Dorian must race against a ticking clock to uncover the truth and save the citizens before the village washes out completely, destroying everything and everyone in its path. This is actually the 5th book in the Coulter Shaw series, which begins with The Never Game, or Captivated, which came out as 0.5 in this series. But this is the newest one that was published this year and got 5 stars.
What do they do if they get one that comes before the 0.5? Like, is it 0.25? This is a fun book. I also read this one, and I would agree. It's pretty good.
Me too.
Jodi Picoult's Mad Honey, also written with Jennifer Finley Boylan down there. Olivia McAfee knows what it feels like to start over. Her picture-perfect life living in Boston, married to a brilliant cardiothoracic surgeon, raising a beautiful son. Asher was upended when her husband revealed the darker side. She never imagined she would end up back in her sleepy New Hampshire hometown, living in the house she grew up in, taking over her father's beekeeping business. Lily Campanello is familiar with do-overs too. When she and her mom relocate to Adams, New Hampshire for her final year of high school, they both hope it will be a fresh start. And for just a short while, those new beginnings are exactly what Olivia and Lily need. Their paths cross when Asher falls for the new girl at school, and Lily can't help but fall for him too. With Ash, she feels happy for the first time, yet at times she wonders if she can trust him completely. Then one day, Olivia receives a phone call. Lily is dead, and Asher is being questioned by the police. Olivia is adamant that her son is innocent, but she would be lying if she didn't acknowledge the flashes of his father's temper in him. And as the case against him unfolds, she realizes he's hidden more than he's shared with her. This was published in 2022 by Jodi Picoult, who's great with like political kind of things. And
yeah, I like this book a lot.
It's a good one.
My last pick is one of our teen 5-star reads, and this is One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus, and this was published back in 2017. Pay close attention and you might solve this. On Monday afternoon, 5 students at Bayview High walk into detention. Bronwyn, the brain, is Yale-bound and never breaks a rule. Addie, the beauty, is the picture-perfect homecoming princess. Nate, the criminal, is already on probation for dealing. Cooper, the athlete, is the all-star baseball pitcher. And Simon, the outcast, is the creator of Bayview High's notorious gossip app. Only Simon never makes it out of that classroom. Before the end of detention, Simon's dead. And according to investigators, his death wasn't an accident. On Monday, he died. But on Tuesday, he planned to post juicy reveals about all 4 of his high-profile classmates, which makes all 4 of them suspects in his murder. Or are they the perfect patsies for a killer who's still on the loose? Everyone has secrets, right? What really matters is how far you would go to protect them. So this sounds like a good teen pick. One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. I haven't read it, but it's on my list to read.
It's a really good mystery, and she's got like more after it. So if you like it, you can kind of go down McManus road for a while. Well, we hope that you enjoyed our 5-star reads we shared today. We'll have more next time.
Yeah, we thank you for watching our videos. You can find us on the Kimberly Public Library website, Facebook page, and YouTube channel. And until next time, Jill and I thank you for watching. Bye! Bye.